Two, one. All righty. Well, welcome everybody to Coffee with the Missionary. We're so excited to be here tonight, and we're so excited to be talking with Kenny and Lacey Horton and little Layla there. She just scurried away, but they are Missionary Associates in Guatemala. So welcome, guys.
Thanks for joining us.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, we're so excited that you took the time, and we're excited for all that we're going to be talking through tonight. But real quickly, just briefly introduce yourselves, who you are, where you're live from tonight, a little bit about yourselves.
Okay, well, I'm Kenny Horton. It's my wife Lacey.
I'm Lacey.
and then our daughter Layla running that way.
She just gave me a fruit snack.
Yeah.
All right.
And we're in Guatemala City, Guatemala, sandwiched between Mexico and Honduras and El Salvador.
Awesome. All right.
We're missionaries here. Been here about 4 months now, and before that, we spent 8 months in Costa Rica at language school. So we've been on the field almost a year now.
We're MAs. We work under Darren and Heidi Walker. We're working with Child Hope, used to be Latin American Child Care, working with Child Hope schools here within the country.
And there are 22 Child Hope schools in the country right now, all over the country, and we work in. We've been to just about all of those as a team now.
Oh, wow! In 4 months, you've been to all those already?
We actually did in September. We had to do our school visits. We went and did school visits where they check on the schools to get sometimes updated photos, deliver gifts, also do checks on the schools and see how things are running. And as a team, we visited every single school. Now that we kind of split that up, so we went to different schools. So gotcha. I think I went to like 8 or 9 schools. Lacey went to 8 or 9 schools.
Yeah, I went to the northern region, the Patan region, and we visited 3 schools there, which are kind of on the borders, Mexico and Belize, and then one that's kind of in the center up there. We all kind of went to the ones in the city, but it was really cool. We got to meet a lot of the administrators. We got to meet teachers, make those connections being new on the field, you know.
Yeah.
It's really important to meet people within the childhood school. So it was really, really awesome and quite the experience.
Yeah. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, if you're just joining us, welcome. We see some people joined us. Welcome to Coffee with the Missionary. We're talking with Kenny and Lacey Horton. They are Missionary Associates in Guatemala. And I think I sent this out to you. Maybe if I didn't, then ignore this. But I asked if you would introduce yourself using a picture or a movie quote. Did I send that to you?
Mm-hmm.
No, okay, never mind. We'll skip that one because.
Well, hold on. Let's give them a chance.
Okay.
Are you guys
sure.
movie quoters?
Yeah.
I have one already on my Instagram account. So this is my bio on my Instagram. All I want to do is go the distance. Do you know what that's
You know
from?
the movie.
Wait,
I don't know.
I'm a movie quoter, and it like hurts my heart right now because I feel like I know it. Can you give me another quote from the movie?
Yo, Adrian, we did it.
Oh, well, Rocky.
Yeah.
Okay.
Boom. We're just outside of Philly, so we should know that. Right.
It was honestly that voice. I'm like, it's the deep Godfather voice. Now, I do have a quick question, though, because I definitely sense some sort of accent that is not North Jersey, New York, or Philadelphia. So where are you guys from originally in the States?
We're from Vermont. I'm just kidding.
I was like, what?
southern, far deep South Vermont. But,
I've heard about that.
Right?
I'm from Texas. I was born in Fort Worth, Texas, and
I'm originally from Oklahoma, but I've lived in Texas for 7 years before moving here. So
Okay, yeah, your accent isn't as harsh as Kenny's.
Thanks, harsh. That's not the worst thing somebody said about my accent, but
It's not as dramatic. It's not as strong. There you go.
Hey,
That's not a suerte.
my Spanish accent's a little better.
Right.
Not
Well,
much better. But
Uh-oh.
we do want to pause a second because we got a bunch of comments here. I'm sure you know all these people.
You have a fan club.
Gosh, Willie.
Movie quotes. I see the Hot Rod movie quotes, which I'm totally loving.
Yeah.
Also, Betty says, "Where's Layla?" Yeah,
Uh-oh.
we're all asking, where is Layla? We
I
got,
told you if he was on here, we would have like 30 viewers by now.
and I don't know, maybe this person's related to you.
Yeah. That's my dad.
Aw.
Welcome, awesome. Oh, and Carrie says, "Sing to us, Lacey Gaga."
Yeah.
Do we have some secret pipes in there?
Yes, they're not too secret. She's pretty awesome.
Oh, that's so fun. Do you lead worship? Do you sing? You know, what kind of, I don't know what I'm asking.
Yeah. I studied music a little bit in college,
Okay.
and I did worship leading and stuff like that. So yeah.
Fun.
Awesome.
Now, she downplays it, but she's really awesome. You can look at my Facebook page, and I posted some videos of her singing at Sincel. So you
All
can
right.
Awesome.
That's so
Very
cool.
And do
this life goal can make me feel really awkward, like all the time.
She's a really good singer, guys.
do you sing in Spanish too?
Okay, so it's one of my favorite things to do is to learn to sing in Spanish because I have the words in front of me. You know, speaking in Spanish when you don't know the language, you always feel a little like handicapped. Like I never can really say what I want to say. But when I can sing in Spanish, I can have the lyrics in front of me and I can pronounce them, you know.
True.
It's
all laid out there. So I prefer.
And it's like super anointed. Like and it's not just because that's part of it, but she's phenomenal.
Oh, that's all. So someone's calling you out though too, Kenny. Someone's saying that they're both musicians.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Hi, Mom.
No, well, we got a Hayes in here too.
Oh yes.
Are they related?
My sister.
Oh.
Welcome, family. That's
Yeah.
amazing.
All right. So if you're just joining us, we are talking to Kenny and Lacey. What are your last names? I am so sorry. Horton. I should have remembered that, and I do apologize. Kenny and Lacey Horton. They are missionaries in Guatemala right now. And yeah, so can you guys tell us a little bit about what Guatemala is like? You've been there for 4 months. What have you experienced? What have you learned? What's been surprising? Just go for it.
Okay. So a few of the superficial things that I just love.
Uh-huh.
So in driving is so crazy that everyone is prepared for like everything that could possibly happen. Your emergency lights or whatever, or your hazards. Yeah, your hazards. And like you decide just to back up in the middle of the road. Everyone's like, "We got you. You're cool." You do stuff like that in the States, people freak out. They're honking, yelling at you. People here are like, "It's cool. Let me back up. Let me stop traffic." But these people on by, you know, and I love that. I love that. It makes me feel a lot better about having to learn to drive like all over again.
Yeah.
And they're like, there is road rage though, like people honking and there's different. We were taught by one of the guys we work with. His name's Melvin. He taught us Guatemalan honks because there's different. They communicate different things with different honks. And this, in a lot of Latin American countries, I'm sure y'all are gonna come in. You're gonna see a lot of it in Mexico. But like he's like, if you do like one short honk, that's like welcome. You know, come on in. You know,
Adelante.
Yeah, adelante. And then like 2 honks is like, thank you, gracias. You know, but like 3 honks or one really long honk.
That's not good.
That's a bad word. Yeah. They didn't like it. Yeah.
No, we're in New Jersey. I'm from New Jersey. Noah's from Wisconsin. So the 1, 2, 3 honk rule, I'm somewhat familiar with. I used to honk for him when we drove because I'm like, they don't know. You need to let them know. So I can relate to that. I appreciate that.
I love using my horn, even in the States. Like I'm always honking at people, and no one likes it because like, you're gonna get shot or something. You know, like people don't do that in Texas. But for me, I'm like, it's there, and I'm gonna use it. So here,
Amen.
opportunity and the excuse to use my horn.
That's awesome.
Before you continue, because I know you guys have a lot to say about Guatemala, but you guys are winning the award for most comments. This is amazing. But
I'm guessing it's either Josh Woolley or.
Well, we have Aaron Chambers.
Hey, we will, Aaron.
And
You're the best.
said Melvin. Sad face.
Melvin, Saidi, and Marco. They're 3 Guatemalans who they're children's evangelists that work with Child Hope, and they're phenomenal.
Incredible.
Wow.
Really awesome.
Oh, that's cool.
And then, so Carrie, is it Carrie?
Carrie, Josh's wife.
So
Josh,
I do have to say, Carrie, that actually I was born in Minnesota, and I hold on to that. So I'm a Vikings fan, not a Packers fan.
Whoa.
Yes.
I know. I understand you will no longer be watching this video, and
no, she's cool with that.
She's Minnesota.
She's Minnesotan. Yeah.
oh yes, go Vikings.
Can we talk Minnesota things because like I know so much more about Minnesotans.
Let's go get a hot dish.
A hot dish. And,
which is a casserole for all you Texans who are watching.
Oh yeah, sure.
Oh
yeah.
boy, please don't. I've worked so hard, guys. I've worked so hard. I'm not regretting the process.
All right, here, I'll help you with a different type of accent.
Yeah, right now. That's awesome.
Oh my goodness.
All right, so that was one superficial thing about Guatemala. What are some other things that you guys can enlighten us with?
I know for me, like sometimes people talk about in missions, like making sacrifices as far as food goes. We kind of had to lie on that front, or just not, because the food here is so good.
Wow.
It's really, really good.
Oh,
What are some of your favorite dishes?
Oh, for me, black beans and tortillas, and their tortillas are not like the
flour ones. Oh,
flat, nothing. They're like handmade, thick all corn tortillas, and they're beautiful. And then the cool thing about Guatemala is they have this really hot pepper called a chiltepe. This little bitty tiny pepper, and you can put just a little bit of it in something, and it makes it good and spicy. And so they have some good salsas and stuff here too. And being from Texas, I like spicy stuff.
Lacey, can you eat spicy food too?
yes, I love spicy food.
Okay.
Which most food here isn't really that spicy.
Yeah.
But they put that particular pepper in some of the salsas and stuff that really heightens the spice. But I also am a big fan of the tortillas here and how we can get them right down the road from our house for like
super cheap.
Change, and get stack of handmade tortillas. Oh, it's amazing. Yeah.
This is good to me. Does Layla like spicy food?
No.
With that now. Okay. I didn't think so.
Spaghetti
and peanut butter sandwiches, but not with jelly, just peanut butter.
But she calls it peanut butter jelly, and it's really cute.
Fruit snacks,
corn dogs.
So getting her to eat the Guatemalan food is a little.
She does like black beans.
She does.
I'll
give her that.
We're working her into it, and she likes ice cream, helado.
Yeah.
That's one word we can't say in either language.
Who cares about where the bathroom is? Do you have helado? All I need is ice cream.
Which Layla is actually going to a Guatemalan school. It's a bilingual Guatemalan school.
Oh, wow.
Very cool.
There's summer stuff, which it's on the off season. So they're doing their summer months right now. And so she's going to the summer school, and then she'll officially start in January. which she's learning more Spanish because she learned some in Costa Rica, but she's been kind of off for a little bit. But she comes home talking about different things,
New words, yeah.
But I had to go over with her on the first day, like, okay, because we're potty training. So, Layla, if you have to go to the bathroom, what's the word that you use? Like, if you have to go. And she's like, baño. And I'm like, yes, if you can just remember that word, I think you'll be good. Like,
that translates.
And she's pretty much good. She's like, she wears pull-ups at night for security purposes. That's kind of where we're at right now. We're
and like, for less laundry purposes, I mean.
Pretty much. Y'all are coming into that fully understanding all of that.
Yep. How has she adjusted to Guatemala so far?
She does pretty good most days. She made a lot of friends in Costa Rica. And so she talks about her friends from kinder and language school in Costa Rica all the time. But she's going into school. She's going to be making some friends. But she does really pretty well. We talk about it all the time about how we let her get away with a lot of stuff because she's had to deal with a lot of transition lately. So if she wants like a peanut butter sandwich, another, dinner, we're like, just give it to her. Like she went to like an all Spanish speaking school today, pretty much. And I would want to do that. So let's give it to her.
Yeah. That's really like some of the battles that I think we would fight a little bit harder and, in a more comfortable setting where you're just, there's certain things that we can work on, but she's been a champ. She, whenever we had that deal in September where we were, in September, we traveled to all the different Child Hope schools. She wasn't in school yet. None of her school stuff started until the beginning of November. And so it was either one of us stay at home with her or just tag her, bring her along. And so she with us to a lot of the schools and hit in the boxes and
the kids loved her. They loved her. She's got, the light hair, the blue eyes. Touching her, like she's kind of introverted, so she's like, I don't know what this is. So I had to explain, that she's a little shy. She may not talk right away, but the kids loved her, and I think it was a good experience for her to go to visit a lot of the schools and to see what we do, and that became her normal every day for a while. She's like, so what school are we going to today? So
that's awesome.
If somebody gives her candy, she's totally good.
So am I.
Yeah,
I get that.
So we have a comment from Nina Garrett. Thanks, Nina. She says, hello, my daughter Stephanie Sasser and her husband Mark are in Costa Rica.
We got to meet the Sassers right before we left. They got there right before we left for Guatemala. So we got to meet them.
Very cool.
Awesome.
Language was awesome.
Oh, make some of the best friends of your life.
And we have a lot of love for Layla here.
She is.
Everyone loves.
That's true.
And then I don't know, this one is a little disturbing, talking about mailing a child.
We should set some ground rules for this.
I don't know if we're going to be able to.
I wish we could
not really mail her away. We don't want to do that. But I mean, I wish it was easier to go see people.
Yeah. And if y'all talked to Josh and Carrie Woolley yet?
Who is it?
Carrie Woolley just posted. There's some people you need to interrogate as well.
Oh, absolutely.
Cool.
Yeah.
Oh, there's the woman of the hour.
Hi, Layla.
Do you have anything you want to say? You look like the queen. It's the queen's week.
Here I am.
Layla, what's your favorite thing to eat?
You know what it is.
What's your favorite snack? Do you like peanut butter?
I like cupcakes.
Ooh.
Now we're talking. Sprinkles or no sprinkles?
Yeah, loves her some sprinkles.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh man.
Oh, she's so sweet.
Oh, do you want your? I ate your fruit snacks. I'm
Do you want
sorry.
to take this one?
So we're getting up close and personal now, guys. They would like to know when the second baby's coming.
Okay, so
We have a second question. So, so this is getting some traction here.
so this is it. So my friend Carrie, the one that asked, she's brave, like one of the bravest people I know, and is having a baby in Ecuador. See, I am not to that point yet where I can have a baby here in Guatemala. Not quite as brave. So we're putting that one on the back shelf for a little bit.
Whoa.
Get nice and settled first.
We do have Nina said, thank you so much. I'm so proud of them. Talking about the Sassers. Definitely gives me a different perspective on the transition to the mission field. I'll keep you guys in prayers, my prayers as well.
Thank you.
Thank you, Nina.
Need all that.
A lot of love for Layla.
Oh, Zachy says hi.
It's on my.
Zachy's in Antigua, the island of Antigua in the Caribbean.
Okay, wonderful.
They're buddies from
Nana
South.
says she loves you.
Oh, Nana.
And we've got a little bit of encouragement from Joshua Woolley. Woolley or Woolley?
Oh, they have a lot of confidence in that. So that's funny because
Just saying.
I don't know if I should know. I think they probably need to tell you that story.
He had an incident in a hospital. He had an incident, had to go to the hospital. It's a big, long story. So
Involving
if anybody wants to find a really interesting missionary story, they need to go to Joshua Woolley or Carrie Woolley's Facebook page, find the video, and you need to just watch it because it's
Involving a gas stove.
Mark it down, write it down, things I have to watch late at night when I can't sleep. And
Oh, yeah.
That's awesome.
Daddy.
Oh, so we're going to transition here. Where one of our themes for LAC has been this year has been letting go. And so we've been talking and asking different missionaries about what it means to be letting go. And so we wanted to ask you, in your experiences so far, you're fresh onto the mission field, Costa Rica for 8 months, but then you're fresh onto in Guatemala there for a few months. And so what have you had to let go as you've entered into missions?
Control is one big thing, and that was especially in Costa Rica. There's a lot of things that change. You go from having a vehicle in the States to not having a vehicle there, and so that's definitely a change. But I think for me and Lacey, that was kind of refreshing because we were both. I was a manager in my job back in Texas. And Lacey ran her own business. She was a private voice and piano teacher, and worked a couple other jobs as well. She did a lot of stuff for our church, and we were youth pastors at our church for about 10 years. And so we had a lot of responsibility and a lot of kind of authority in a way and responsibility. And so we kind of gave up all authority whenever we came to the field. But that's kind of been refreshing because we got to Costa Rica and we were like, our only job is to learn a language. That's like take care of our daughter and learn a language, and so that was kind of freeing, I think, for both of us, letting that go. Here it's definitely been a different transition because there's a lot more to do, and it's more than just learning the language. There's a lot of things that we're doing, some exciting, some more difficult. But as far as letting go, of good Wi-Fi, that's one.
But those are the things that we giggle at, but really it's the everyday stuff sometimes that tends to like pile on, you know?
Yeah, it's
And I think it's expectations too of how you think life is supposed to go or the way things are supposed to go. There's a lot of things you either, you put on hold, or you think, well, that's something that we'll have to wait on, or I thought it was going to go like this, but it didn't go like this. And those expectations that you have of how we feel like things should go, you kind of have to put those aside and let them go.
Sure.
And do a lot of trusting in God and trusting his plans, and that he knows what he's doing in a lot of things. So,
letting go of people.
Mm.
Because, all the people that you leave behind when you go on the field, some who understand. My parents were missionaries when I was a little boy for about 5 years here in Guatemala, believe it or not. So they kind of understand what we, fully what we're going through in a lot of ways. But then there's other people who don't understand what we're doing and why we're doing what we're doing. And then there's kind of that situation where we said bye to some people in the States that, it was a little bit tougher than others because you're not sure if you're ever going to see that person again, And I had a lady she was pretty much my grandmother. She's not by blood, but she was my grandmother. She recently passed away. But God created an opportunity, blessed me to be able to go back and honor her at her funeral it was like 48 hours, but it was an opportunity to go back and be there for her. But I know that's an opportunity that I won't always have. And so letting go of people is very difficult. And our daughter, I know she's had to let go of a lot of stuff, but her grandparents had to let go of a lot of stuff. And we're blessed.
That you don't always hear about, but you hear about the missionaries making sacrifices, but the families of missionaries also make the sacrifices by letting their kids go, their grandkids go, and their expectations of what they thought their lives were going to be like. Christmases together, holidays together, and seeing your grandkids grow up. They have to let those things go as well, and that's part of the package of raising your kids in obedience, and then modeling, what that looks like, and then following through. So
yeah.
And that leads me into a follow-up question that I had. Thanksgiving is next week. Christmas is coming up. You guys are recently in Guatemala. So, are you going to be able to go home for the holidays, or are you spending it in Guatemala?
We're staying here. It's not feasible for us right now to be able to get back on the budget.
So why don't you guys just talk about that, and get as personal as you want, not whatever, but how does that look like for you as you process letting go of like the family traditions that you have, adapting possibly new cultural things that you've been observing in Guatemala, how they celebrate, how does that process look for you guys right now?
One cool thing here is Guatemalans pretty much start Christmas stuff like October.
No, September.
Oh, it's like late September.
September,
yeah.
Man.
They don't
have
really
like
worry
their
about Halloween.
Independence Day, like the beginning of September, and then it's like
Christmas.
Christmas.
Halloween's not even really a thing here,
Which
and it just
I love.
goes straight to Christmas. And so there's lights. They're starting to put up trees everywhere.
Oh, like trees that move. You're like spinning, and I'm like, this is crazy.
My God.
Hieroglyphics, I don't know, like trees. This is crazy. Hieroglyphics, hydro, whatever.
Hologram?
Hydraulics.
Hydraulics.
Yes.
That's what it is. Anyway,
Okay.
Every one of them, I was like, yep, that's it. So I have no idea.
So that's cool. Like that's a neat thing. But one thing that we have this year that we're blessed with, which we're not trying not to get our hopes up too much that this is going to be like every year, but we would be okay with it. I think if it was every year. We have a lot of family coming this year.
Oh, cool.
They're really sick of not seeing their granddaughter. So my parents are coming for Thanksgiving.
Okay.
and then we have Lacey's family coming next month. So
Yeah.
so we're gonna be we're gonna have a lot of family that'll be able to be here with us for a short time.
Yeah. Well,
so
that's good.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Great water and everything.
Oh, that's cool. Have you guys ever have you noticed yet? Like, well, I mean, I don't know. You haven't had a Christmas there yet, but like any kinds of foods that you've heard that are more popular around, Christmas time or.
They do tamales here around Christmas time, but the tamales here are usually round and wrapped in like banana leaves.
Okay.
Leaves. I haven't really. I'm just really excited about it. Haven't experienced it yet, but I've heard about it that people are selling these, and I'm like, we're gonna get in on some of that.
I had today. I had a pupusa from southern Guatemala, like 15 minutes from the Salvadorian border. We went down that way today, and I had pupusa today, and it was delicious. That and like a whole fish that they deep fried.
With the eyes and everything?
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't. I like to try new things, but I don't like to try body parts like that. Yeah, I've got my limits.
Yeah, I was a little leery of the fish the first time here because you hear stories about like amoebas and cholera and undercooked fish or fish
Cholera? Is that a
was
thing?
yeah, it's cholera. Yeah. And yeah, it's kind of normal. It's just a thing. And dengue is kind of a deal too.
Right.
Oh, that's a thing.
From, yeah. But yeah.
Oh, so I just wanted to say for everyone who's watching, and we have some comments to get to, but we're gonna have in maybe about 5-10 minutes, as soon as we find a willing person, we're gonna play Are You Smarter Than a Missionary? So we have Kenny and Lacey here, and we're gonna ask questions about Guatemala and other things. And so if you're interested, this is you watching. If you're interested, just comment, hey, I want to play. I'll send you a link. You need to have Google Chrome, but we'll send you that link and you can hop right on and we'll play Are You Smarter Than a Missionary? And tonight we're playing for Pride.
We are?
We are playing for Pride.
I thought we were playing for a gift card.
No, we don't have a gift card. You guys want to give away a gift card?
Hey, we'll play for that.
A gift card and send it.
We're super competitive.
All right. Okay, we have Teza Alexander says yes. All right, so
wait,
Teza,
can you confirm that that's what you're saying yes to?
She's a missionary to Costa Rica. I don't know if that counts. It kind of sounds like cheating to me.
No, you know
wow.
what?
Okay. Well, we have
Really
that
smart.
before.
Really smart and kind of intimidating. So.
If Teza, if you are well, I know you are not. If you are a missionary,
you're a real missionary.
But no, if we can find someone who isn't a missionary, we have a suggestion that Ronnie Horton, I guess that play. I don't know.
He would be a good.
Got a father-son thing going on. Is that your dad?
The Kojak. Well, yeah, Ronnie Horton's my dad, but Kojak Martin's a good friend from our church back home.
Kojak should do.
Yeah, Kojak would be a good one.
Oh, Kojak, why don't you do it?
All right, Kojak, are you interested?
We're nominating you. By nominating someone else, you just threw yourself in the ring.
All right, so I'm going to try to make this happen. But Mel, keep talking.
All right,
here.
that's what I'm good at. I like to talk. No, but hold on. What are the other things that we were gonna
following up about letting go?
Okay, so with this whole series of letting go with the LAC, it's been really cool because for everybody that process looks different. Some of it, like you guys said, is like Wi-Fi stuff. It's expectations, which I don't know. It's one of those things where as missionaries, it's just taken to a whole nother level because everyone's got to let go at some point in their life of something, but then you add on top of that cultural differences and stuff like that. So can you guys just talk about, what are some of the biggest cultural barriers that you've had to overcome, that you've had to let go of, for yourself personally, how that's affected you?
It's a good one.
Because you guys do seem very flexible and like you enjoy this process, but what's been something that even if you've enjoyed it,
I would say for me, it's language, and I'm a very direct person. And in this culture, it's not quite as direct. You kind of, everything's a little bit softened. And so me learning the language, and like when we go into a store, like I just want to go in and be like, I need this. Do you have it? And they're like, no. And then I'm like, I'm out of there. Like, I just want to get my stuff and go, get it taken care of. And that is definitely not the culture here. It's a lot more slow paced. Yeah. I tell Kitty, like, I have to remind myself to like feel like I'm going in slow motion a little bit, because to slow myself down, because I just I'm a fast walker. Like, I'm going to go in there, and it's like a dead giveaway for one that I'm white, obviously, but like I'm definitely, you can tell I'm from the United States, because I'm like on a mission. I'm just going, but reminding myself, and it's good just in life in general, to breathe, slow down, and take things a little slower, and take the time to, do those greetings with people, asking them how they are, and just kind of easing into things a little bit more, as opposed to just getting my question answered or getting things done, but easing into it and building relationships like that as well. So that's something that me personally, in that cultural sphere, that I have to work on and kind of let go of my own personality and the way that I do things, in order to connect more with people in the culture.
Sure. Yeah.
What
about you, Kenny?
I think for me, it's, I don't know if this is a cultural thing, but it is. I think it is kind of a cultural thing. Just learning how to rest, like when I need to, because I'm happiest whenever I'm running and working, and moving 100 miles an hour, doing stuff, doing a construction, working with a construction team, or doing a filter project, or, just involved in doing all this stuff and running and running and running. But sometimes I think whenever I'm home, I'm thinking about the next project, and I'm like moving fast, and I don't know how to rest. And I think a Latin American thing is knowing how to stop and descansar, it's like to rest and take your time and take it easy.
Yeah.
Enjoy being in the moment. Which we're so geared as Americans to get work done. But sometimes, like right now, some of the best work for us to get done is getting to know people, and just being able to sit with somebody and have a cup of coffee and talk and meet them and build a rapport. Because in Latin America, most places, if you're an American and you come in and you don't already have a rapport with the people, you're not going to get much done.
Yeah. So. Yeah. And it's funny, like we hear that all the time with Latin American countries, and even with other cultures too. And the more I think about it, when you think about the United States, like who doesn't like that? Who doesn't like to be known as a person? Just because we're more used to it here in the States doesn't necessarily mean that's what works best all the time, And so I don't know, they're just important lessons to just learn across the board, Yeah.
So while we're waiting for Kojak or Nevin to come on, whoever makes it, but we do have some beautiful pictures. First of all, we have a picture of your family, so nice, and then we have let's see, we have another
Get
picture.
us off the screen. Let people just see them.
Okay. Well, here's a picture. And then I like this one. This is kind of like I guess what is that
Prayer card?
mission prayer card one? Yeah.
Struggling over there, huh?
It looked like a stamp.
Where?
It's based on Guatemalan stamp.
It's based off the Guatemalan stamp.
Oh, cool.
Oh, I like that.
That's a
Okay.
beautiful design.
And then of course we have this one.
Now, is Layla not smiling because she sees the face in the picture, or what is happening?
She might. This was at language school in Costa Rica in the park, and we were just goofing around. There's this awesome park at Shincell that's like it's got swings and slides. None of it OSHA regulated, but
OSHA.
I don't know. It's not a thing down here. So
that's
but we were in the park. One of my many faces.
So before we went live, we were talking with Kenny and Lacey about life, and they had mentioned how, Kenny, you usually do a lot of goofy pictures. Have you passed on that tradition to your daughter? Is she getting there? Is she willing?
She's very animated. Oh, when she tries to cross her eyes, I know you're supposed to like tell your kids that it'll get stuck that way if they do it. That's what everybody's parents told them, but it's so cute when she does it. It's just,
Aw. Can she do it?
what is it?
Can she do it? Can she cross her eyes?
She can.
It's pretty
Yeah.
impressive at 3 years old.
And she's
Oh,
constantly
come
hard over it. She's
Yeah.
like,
on. Stay still. Stay focused.
yeah, gotta think about it.
Right. So now Noah's still trying to work on, they're trying to get someone, they're working on sending the link over. But what has been one of the things for you guys that's been I don't know, just probably the most God-oriented thing that has happened since you've been there? And that I'm not looking for drama or whatever. I mean, if that's what you have, that's great. But just something that you're like, man, that was only something God could have done.
Man, there's been quite a few things. You know, we've in some of the teams that I've worked with, we've seen some healings during some filter projects. We were doing filter distribution up in the Petén region, the northern region of Guatemala, and we had a man walk into the church where we were distributing filters, a little kind of a shack of a church, and there were 20 families that we were giving filters out to, which clean water up there is kind of a premium, and it's a great ministry tool.
Yeah.
And I did like a little 5-minute message in my bad Spanish at this church, and then I invited people to come up for prayer. And there was a man who had come in with a bad leg. His leg was badly hurt, could barely walk in, and he came up for prayer. And the students, there was mainly a youth team. The students gathered around him, and I prayed for him, but I wasn't like the main one praying. I was just in the group. And these students began to pray for him, and like right as like I get this phone call, my phone starts ringing right in the middle of praying. So I kind of like, I think it might be one of our leaders telling us to get back or something like that. I kind of step back out of the circle, and the guy begins to like jump up and down and praise God and everything. And he's been healed at a water filter. You know, like God used water filters to heal somebody.
Wow.
So that was a cool deal, you know.
Yeah.
I think for us personally, there's always so many little things, you know, and I think when you're relying on a budget, a tight budget to survive in another country, and you're relying on God speaking to people to give monthly, that's all. It seems like it's always a miracle whenever we look and see, you know, people who are giving, people who give extra at different points.
Yeah.
Faith giving, and
Yes.
it's faith on, you know, both parts. You know, it's faith for us that people are going to give, and then on their part, so many people give out of, you know, their lack, and it's faith giving on their part as well. You know, that God's going to provide, you know, and they're going to give what they've, you know, felt called to give or, you know, led to give, and they do it, and God shows up.
It's amazing.
It's amazing.
and I was actually, whenever I told you about my grandmother passing away,
Yeah.
I was, I kind of battled with that on whether or not I should go, because it was a big expense. And I was like, I don't know if I can afford it, but you know what, I need to go. And so I left and I went and I spoke to a couple in the airport, the Guatemala airport. I spoke to them for all of a minute and a half. It was basically, hi, how you doing? You find somebody, when you're in a Latin American country and you find somebody who speaks English, sometimes you kind of cling to that. And you're like, oh, somebody to talk to that I don't have to like rack my brain to try to communicate with them. And so we talked for like a minute and a half and they were just there visiting. And it was like such a quick conversation. And they're like, hey, do you have a prayer card? And I reached in my bag and I handed them one. And I didn't even think about it after that. Like it was not anything that I thought twice about,
Mm-hmm.
And then after the funeral was over, I came back to Guatemala and I got this email and this lady said, my husband and I have decided to pay for your plane ticket and we put it in your account. And,
Wow.
and it was like, so the financial side that we were worried about making that, kind of making that sacrifice to go, God took care of it. And just little things, big, little things, which are big, little things, which are big things,
Yeah, for sure.
Because round trip tickets to States are expensive.
Yeah.
And so huge, so many different things that God does. And we work in Child Hope where kids rely on sponsorships from sponsors, so that they can go to school and they can get an education. Most importantly, they hear the gospel where they're at. And so, seeing these teams come and these people who don't have a lot of money to give, they sacrificed a lot to come and raise their funds to come down for a week to do a project, and they'll sponsor a child who otherwise wouldn't be able to stay in the school, And those are miracles that we see whenever we have teams come where children are sponsored. So a lot of times where God's answered prayer. Lacey just had to run and do something with Layla real quick. So, she usually goes to sleep before this. For all y'all.
She's excited.
Yeah. She loves Facebook Live. So.
Oh, that's awesome. Well, we aren't able to get anyone on here for Are You Smarter Than a Missionary? So
It's not working.
It's a little disappointing there, but if anyone would like to jump on, we'd love it. I was going to say Kenny will pit you against your wife. Do you think she's going to be back?
Yeah, she should be back here in just a minute. We can do that.
Okay. All right. So there's still time if you're watching and you would like to, even if you're a fellow missionary, we're going to talk about Guatemala and things like that. But I also want to say for everyone watching that we're going to close this out after we play our game. We're going to close it out with a time of prayer, but I've asked Kenny and Lacey if they will pray over your requests. And so for fellow missionaries that are watching, family and anyone else, if you want to comment in your prayer requests, it doesn't have to be crazy personal, but whatever you feel comfortable sharing, want to give Kenny and Lacey an opportunity just to bless you in this Facebook Live video and just pray as God's Spirit leads over those requests. So feel free from now until the end of the video to comment in with your prayer requests and things like that.
And now we do have one last question before we play the game. And when Noah told me about it, I just really liked it. So what is, I don't know, what are some ways that God had prepared you for Guatemala even before you knew Guatemala was on the table? So thinking back now.
All right. Well, you want to start?
Sure.
Okay.
We were in youth ministry. We did it for about 7 years. Kenny did it a little longer than I did. I kind of joined him in that. And that was just something that we loved so much. We loved our youth kids. We just loved everything about it. Thought we would do it forever. Long story short, our hearts were kind of prepped for missions by some missionaries coming to our church and speaking, and we felt the call. but it wasn't something we were ready to really take head on. And it was kind of a long story, but a couple of our, after we'd already applied for missions, we were in the process, but no one knew what we had applied for. It's a long process. It takes about a year to get that approval. And we were some months into it. No one knew, but a couple of our youth, two separate, completely different times, they thought they would to someplace like Guatemala. And so at that point, we knew God was really working on us going into missions. And youth ministry in general prepared us so much because one of the most unreached people groups here in Guatemala is teenagers between like the ages of 12 and 17. And that's one reason why, we're here, is we feel like God has called us to this this age group, and we've gotten some amazing opportunities already. And we just feel like the youth group that we had, the specific kids, we see so many of their faces here, and the kids here in Guatemala. And we see them, and we see kids from like, that reminds me of so-and-so, you remember, and he's like, yes, me too. And they look like our kids. And we just know that that's something that God has placed that passion in our hearts. Yeah. And it's been just, just growing as time has gone on, and has used these experiences and these lessons we've learned through all of this. And of course, just the interaction with the youth to just prepare us for what he's going to be doing with us in Guatemala.
And when the kind of the call first started was we came on a mission trip in 2014 with Darren and Heidi Walker here in Guatemala. Our church came on a 1 week trip, and I felt it. I felt it kind of right away. I felt like I was coming home, since I spent some time here as a kid, and that was it. It was 20 years. It was 20 years, almost to the month. 20 years later that I came back on that mission trip. I left in 94 when I was a kid. And we came back in 2014, and I felt at home. And so after we were done with that trip, I mentioned to Lacey, I was like, what do you think about missions? And she was in a different place at that time. She found out she was pregnant 3 days before the trip. So he was in a very different place. Understandably so. But it was kind of one of those things where we like, I felt it then, but then I kind of just gave it over to God, and I was, wanted to wait and see what God said and see what God told my wife. And I always kind of thought, as time went by, I always kind of thought that I would, if God wanted me to go into missions, that I would kind of lose that passion for youth and gain and that passion for missions would kind of come into place, like they were exclusive, like youth ministry would kind of fall off as far as a passion, and missions would come to fill its spot. But that youth passion never went away. It never subsided. Even when we were going through the process, I mean, there were constantly times where we were like, are we doing what God wants us to do, but these times where Lacey was talking about the confirmation from some of the students who had no idea. And then when we found out that one of the major needs in Guatemala is the youth, is the teenage age group. It's kind of like, that's become, missions has just become part of that passion that we had before. And so it's really cool how God uses what you already have, the tools you already have, or the experiences you already have to do what he has for you next, albeit way out of your comfort zone and sometimes in a different language, which is kind of a funny joke from God. Yeah.
No, but I like that it's like he's relocating the passionate hearts that you already have. He's not necessarily, I think sometimes when people think about missions and they get afraid, they think God's going to change everything about who I am and I don't want to become a different person. And God's like, I have no intention. Like he has every intention of making us a better person for him, but he designed us in a certain way and he's going to give you the passions to follow that. But, you know, all that to say, just that is a very encouraging word. I just know even for me personally and for anybody watching that, like God is using, like you said, what he's already given you.
And God doesn't, you know, missionaries are not superhuman, out of the ordinary. Like, I guess out of the ordinary, yeah. But
we're kind of a little weird.
We're weird, yeah.
And you prove that tonight.
But you know, we're not like, we don't have these like special strengths that other people don't have. You know, we're average, normal human beings. Who are just being obedient in what God's called us to be obedient. And, you know, for some people, you know, for every person, obedience looks different. And so that's kind of, you know, where we stepped is we're average people with flaws. And when you have flaws and you go into a third world country or, you know, you go into a different culture, you know, those flaws sometimes, you know, come more to the surface, you know, things that were little tiny deals, you know, in the States, because you're in another country. And like you run out of toilet paper and
what?
You know, or, you know, just, I don't know, like little things that wouldn't be big if they were somewhere else become large.
You find out who you really are, and you find out like the things that you are usually good at covering up in a really comfortable setting. The minute you're thrown into something that is out of your comfort zone, you're dealing with culture shock, you find out like all those things you're really good at compressing come to the surface, and you start to see your true self emerge.
I was just singing that in my head.
Yeah.
Happy lives forever.
Love me some JT. So this is a kind of a funny cultural thing. I know we're talking way too much. I'm sorry.
No.
Great.
Y'all are really fun to talk to. Can we just say that? Like I usually hate like video chatting, just to be honest, because
TBH.
It feels personal but impersonal. You know what I'm saying? It's
No,
like,
he just starts to look at his own self on the screen and gets distracted. Is what happens.
I get that though.
So anyway,
JT.
So anyway, yeah, JT. Anyway, so our daughter, kind of the thing that's helped her out in going to school. We take her to school, and the school is great, but it's super secure because we're in Guatemala City. And so they like we don't get out of the car. They open the door. They take her in. We're not allowed to go in and talk to her teachers. She's been going there for a few weeks, and we haven't like met her personal teachers personally yet because we're not allowed to go into the school. And so it is kind of that's a stress.
Talk about letting go.
Yeah,
Sorry.
right. That's a stress.
I opened the door and let my 3-year-old out with her tiny backpack in her lunchbox, and she just like walks in by herself, and I'm like, and we didn't know we couldn't go in, and so we like drop her off, and we're like, well, we're gonna just. They're like, no, you can't, and I'm like, I don't think that I cannot go in right now, and they're like, no, you can't go in. So we go around to the front, and we're like, we need to get in. Like, I needed something that she can't have candy because she will choke on it, you know. And they're like, no, we'll make sure she won't get candy. And so I'm like, hold it together. Hold it together.
Wow. That's
so it's great. It's a great school, and but it's very secure. And they do that to everybody, and so we like that, you know, the security of it.
Yeah.
But Layla, you know, she tends to cry when we take her to school a lot of times. Because she's nervous about it, you know, like she's 3, you know, so she's nervous. So we kind of made her, you know, we would make deals with her trying to get her not to cry. But one of the main things that helps her not to cry, we pray in the car before, you know, as we're driving, you know, and sometimes it'll be Lacey that prays, or you know, she had both of us pray today, you know, like we say a prayer over and everything, and she's happy. And then she has to listen to Trolls music.
Yes.
Which all you
can't
Sincel
stop
people.
the feeling. She has to have that song, and it's like her jam. Like, it gets her like.
Keep it going, Kenny.
Where she goes in.
And by the time I'm excited about the day because of JT. So we're wanting to like Justin Timberlake, if you're watching,
Probably is.
Thank you for that song. We really appreciate
Dude,
it.
And would
really
you drop
is
some
magic.
money? Would you drop some money for the Hortons? to
Support
just
us.
help their money?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that we have daily dance parties with our daughter, and it has to be. She points to the TV, and we put it on Spotify. Poppy.
Poppy?
It has to be a fast song. She was Poppy for Halloween, so we understand 100%, and it's phenomenal.
And we haven't been able to stop the feeling either.
No.
Right.
Stop feeling
Good. It's not near as bad as it could be with some of the kids' music, you know?
Oh,
like
yeah.
I can even
Right.
Lifting
So
song.
true.
Okay, so that's sorry that we.
No.
Nothing to
This
apologize for.
has been great, and we have a few prayer requests that we want to get to. Do you guys want to play against each other? Are you smarter than a missionary? Or if you don't feel like it, we can skip it. It's up to you.
like against each other.
Yeah.
Against
Yeah.
each other.
Is there time?
It's on.
There is time. Yeah.
Okay.
We'll do it. So are you smarter than a missionary? Here we go. Okay. This is really exciting. So it's really exciting.
It is really exciting.
If you have to say it's exciting, how exciting is it? So this is how it's going to work, guys. I'm going to ask a question.
I'm going to ask the question.
Oh, Mel's going to ask the questions. Now, some of them are multiple choice. Some of them you just have to come up with the answer. Now, there's two categories. There's stuff about Guatemala, but then I thought it was appropriate that we ask questions about the movie Horton Hears a Who.
Oh, well, yeah.
Simply because you're the Hortons. So I assume you have all knowledge related to that movie.
We watch it every day. Yeah.
So how it's gonna work is that we're gonna ask the question. You both have to wait until the question is done being asked, including all the answers.
I've heard you're competitive.
Then you raise your hand like this, and the first one that wins, or the first one that raises their hand, you get to go first. If you get it correct, you get a point. If you get it wrong, the other person gets a chance to answer. Okay. Person with the most points wins, and you can give each other a gift card.
And I take it back. He's asking the first question because I can't pronounce any of these words.
Okay, so here we go. First question, question one.
I feel like they're holding mini turtles.
Okay. Question is, which of these is not a sight to see in Guatemala? All right.
Not a sight to see.
Not a sight.
Not.
Okay, we have Tikal, Antigua, Chichicastenango, and Lago de Cotepeque. Oh, we got Kenny.
Lago de Cotepeque.
Jazz
Ding
hands.
ding, correct. We have 1 point. Good job. All right, you want to
I'll do question number 2. All right, Lacey, make me proud. Guatemala borders which 4 countries? No multiple choice. Just raise your hand. So Guatemala borders which 4 countries? You gotta name them all. Okay.
Kenny, slowly.
Kenny, what are they?
Mexico, Belize, Honduras, and El Salvador.
You even had them in the exact order that were written down.
That's impressive.
Well done.
All right, Lacey, don't worry. There's plenty of time for you to make it up here. Okay.
Y'all are gonna hear my Horton Hears a Who knowledge here in a minute. She'll catch up.
This is our last Guatemala question. It's 2-0 Kenny, but there's still time. Okay. What ancient Indian group has deep roots in Guatemala? And I'm not even going to do the answers because I'm sure you guys know this. Oh, that was legitimately a tie.
Was it? Is there just one answer?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Did you answer, Lacey?
Yeah.
What is it?
The Mayans?
Yeah, absolutely.
Good.
Absolutely. The Mayans. Good job. All right, 2-1.
No, I didn't know if it was a specific indigenous group. I don't know.
Well, yeah, because
I can't pronounce those.
There are 23 languages other than Spanish in Guatemala.
Wow.
23.
And you guys obviously know at least 17 of them by now, right? I mean, 4 months in.
14-ish.
14-ish. Right? That's still respectable. You can stay on the show. All right, question number 4. Let's test your movie knowledge. Horton, here's a who. This movie is based off of a book written by who or whom? Whom? By who? By whom?
You don't know? Dr. Seuss. Oh, I gotta read.
Come on, Lacey. Thank
Lacey.
you. I appreciate you so
Wow,
much.
wow. 2-2, just like that. She takes control, brings it back.
You knew who that was, Sue. You gave that one.
She offers a marriage counseling if you guys need some after this. Number 5.
Was a
You realize I've never seen that movie?
Okay, so this is the last question, and yeah, we're not going to have a tie, so we don't need the tiebreaker.
All right.
But here we go. It is about Horton. Here's a who. Okay, so in this movie, Horton is the name of the character. What is Horton? Is he?
had her hand up
Oh
first.
man, that was. All right.
I might be
Lacey,
biased, but
what is Horton?
Is he an elephant?
she even posed it in the right way.
That is correct. Wow. Lacey wins the comeback down 2-0.
If there were a gift card to win, you would have it.
Yes. That's all of that.
You
No.
guys are copy.
Yeah, Kenny,
No, wait, hold
Kenny
on.
knows you a date.
Hold on. Anybody that's watching live, all right? There is a tiebreaker question that you have. This is like honor system all the way. Don't look at his page, okay? What celebrity is on Kenny's Facebook page?
Do you need the options?
Yes. All right, you got Taylor Swift, Bishop T.D. Jakes, Samuel L. Jackson, or Kanye West. Who is featured on Kenny Horton's Facebook page without cheating? We just want to know if you know.
We're gonna wait until we get a
What are the
response.
TD Kanye West, Taylor Swift, and someone else.
On my Facebook page?
On your you might not know that this is real, but yeah, there is a celebrity that is in the photo album of Kenny. One of those.
Oh,
celebrities.
I know who it is, I think.
So we're gonna wait for someone to comment.
And notice that Justin Timberlake was not an option.
Oh, good one. Darren White says a person is a person, no matter how small. Yes, right. There you go.
You know what that's from?
Mm-mm.
All right. So once again,
It just sounds good.
Kenny.
no, okay. What celebrities on Kenny's Facebook page? Is it Taylor Swift, Bishop T.D. Jakes, Samuel L. Jackson, or Kanye West?
I feel like T.D. Jakes would just like to be known that he is a celebrity, that he made it into that category.
Right. All right. Well, we're not getting any comments, but I'm just going to go ahead and put it up there. This is directly from Kenny's Facebook page. Okay.
I remember
Kanye West.
This was when Kanye
Interrupted Taylor Swift?
when Taylor Swift won the award and Kanye starts talking.
I don't want
Yes.
and he made this face and we paused it. This was at our house in
I feel
Dublin.
like that's like a
And he took a
major
picture of
like
that.
moment in history.
that
you
was
know?
a
It
pop
really
culture
was. Not gonna lie. Right. All
Oh,
right.
man.
So game's over. And we did have a few people put in some prayer requests. So how do you want to go about this? This is
So
the first time we're doing this, so bear with us, everybody.
Yeah, we're gonna close here. And first of all, I just want to thank you guys so much for taking the time. And yeah, this has been a blast. But we have a few prayer requests. Bill McClure says, please pray. God shows how to get cheap parts for our car, get them shipped here. So and find someone on the island how to fix a car. So he's having the car stuff. Jim Wolf, a good friend of mine, he says we could use prayer for strength and guidance. Yes, Jim, and so pray for him. And then our third one, this is kind of long, but basically Rachel says, please pray for my grandparents. Grandpa can hardly hear. Grandma's 88, Grandpa's 85. Just pray for peace of mind. Give them both strength. She also said, I've also felt a call in the mission since I was 12, so pray that God would lead and guide me and in the path I should take. I live with my grandparents, so I just need some direction as I don't want to leave them. So definitely some different stuff going on, and we just invite you to pray however the Lord leads you, and thank you everyone for watching and staying tuned, and please continue to pray for the Hortons, and hortonsforhope.com is their website if you want to talk with them further, get connected with them. Definitely keep praying for them. But
and when you guys are done praying, we just want to ask you, what are some things that the viewers can be praying for you guys for? We'll kind of end on that note. So, if you guys want to go ahead.
God, I thank you for your power. I thank you for your love, Lord. I pray that you would bless the McClures right now, Bill and Bethany McClure and their children and challenges that they have faced, Lord, in following you and serving you on the mission field. And I pray that you would provide these parts, Lord, at a reasonable price, at a cheap price, Lord. We believe that you can supernaturally provide them if they're not already there on the island, that you would create a way for them to be able to do what they need to do, Lord. God, we as missionaries, a vehicle is such a vital part of our transportation to be able to do the work that we have to do, God. And I pray that you would make that provision for them, Lord. And Lord, I pray that it would that on the other side of this, they would not only have the parts that they need, Lord, but their finances would look even better after this process. That you would be glorified through this process, Lord. That something would come through, God, that would show them your blessing and your power through this, Lord.
Pray for Jim, whatever the situation is, that you'll give him the guidance and the strength that he's needing, Father, in this situation. We know that you've promised your peace, God. And I just pray that in this situation, you'll give him peace and open the doors that need to be open and close the doors that need to be closed, Father. Yes. And just give him just a supernatural, just knowing, God, of what he needs to do in whatever the situation is. Just speak through him and speak into his life, God.
Lord, for Rachel Vaughn, God, I pray that you would bring her strength right now, Lord. You know that as we follow you, Lord, we leave things behind, God, and I pray for healing in her grandparents right now, Lord. That some of the issues, the health issues that they're dealing with, God, Lord, you are a God who heals, and Lord, I pray that most of all you would give her strength and you would give her courage during this time, Lord. Some of the sacrifices that we make, it's not just a missionary thing, but as an obedient follower of Christ, God. I pray that you would give her strength and you would give her wisdom as she takes the next step in her life, God. And Lord, I pray that you would create a way, Lord, and help her to walk in faith and not fear, Lord, and to be strengthened through this time, Lord, because you know through some of the most trying times in our life is when we are sharpened the most, is when we are strengthened the most. And God, I know that you are a God who can protect Rachel, and you can bring her peace through this situation with her grandparents, God, and then you can give her clarity in her future, God, Lord, because you know the plan you have for her, God. And yes. Lord, we see attacks all the time as followers of Christ. We see attacks all the time from the enemy, where the enemy works and tries to get our eyes off of you and our eyes off of the path. And Lord, sometimes it's just life that gets our eyes off of you, God. And I pray that you would bring her focus into your will for her life, God, and give her peace in that. And give her peace with her family. Give her family peace. Bring healing to her family, God.
Yes, Lord.
I thank you for your power, God. I thank you for your move and your work. In Jesus' name.
Yeah.
Amen.
Amen.
Thank
Amen.
you, guys.
Thank you so much, and as we close here, what are some ways that we can be praying for you, and for those who are watching, how they can be praying?
Pray for continued adjustment for our daughter. As she's in school and everything, it's definitely a challenge in that, and this is kind of a transition point for us. We're going into the holidays, and then after the holidays, we're going to hit the ground running. We have a lot a lot of things going on. We got a lot of teams coming. We're working in the schools, and we're also doing a program, an internship program that we're working in. So we're kind of in a time of transition, and just pray for us during that time that we'll make the right decisions with regard to all the work that we have to do.
Sure.
Yeah, and I would say too, health in all of this time and health with the holidays. Allergies are a bummer here, man. It's one thing I didn't really expect, and I never took allergy medicine. And then we get here, and with the volcanic eruptions and the ash, it's an irritant, and Layla's dealing with a lot of like upper respiratory stuff, and it kind of just catches you off guard. So just health all around.
Yeah, absolutely. Awesome. Well, thank you guys so much again. We really, really, really appreciate it. You guys have been so fun to talk with too. Guatemala is lucky to have you guys. And again.
You guys.
This is fun.
All right. And we'll see everybody on the next Coffee with the Missionary, and you can also catch us on YouTube. We have a bunch of clips, LAC World Missions, and also a podcast on iTunes, Coffee with the Missionary, in case you didn't get a chance to watch it live. All right. God bless everyone. We'll see you next time.
Thanks.
And now the awkward.